Oh, you're actually recording? It says recording for me.
Yes, it actually says it's recording this time, so we're good. We are totally good. We are live. I know how this thing works.
Yes, we are live. I am Blue. This is how we're starting today. That's Brad.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. After the shit show that was last week's episode, this is fine.
Yeah. Oh, we're BnB Anime, by the way.
We BnB Anime. I Brad, that Blue. She abandoned me last week. We're here now. We're all back together. Everything is a-okay. Just listen to the dulcet tones that come from our mouths. Listen to us as we speak into existence the bullshit that is this podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Yeah, and this week we covered
the heaviest thing we have covered in quite a while. Oh, I wasn't prepared. I apologize. Actually, I should have known, considering this story was created by the same person who created A Silent Voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I should have expected it. And there was a reason why the show was very highly talked about and beloved in like the anime, like TikTok and Twitter community.
Yeah.
So I get it. But at the same time, I wasn't emotionally ready for this week.
No, I wasn't either. And oh yeah, like I kept a cry count because we do that here on the podcast.
Yeah, especially if Blue has to keep a cry count. You know that we are extra gaming this week.
Yeah, 100%. So the way I score a cry count is only can do once per episode. So if a tear leaves my eyeball once an episode, that counts. That's a tick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like full on sobbing as well. It's just if a tear leaks from the eye, that counts.
Yes.
So, there are 20 episodes this week.
Uh-huh.
I got
Let me guess. I was going to say you're probably at about a 5 or a 6, I'm guessing.
6. Yeah, 6.
Oh, yep, we are right there together.
Yeah. So,
look at that. This show sucked, man.
It sucks. It's so bad.
Oh, but we're getting just a little bit ahead of ourselves. Since we've taken a week off, I say we've taken a week off. You had a week because last week was beyond busy for you. How you been? I feel like it's been ages since we have spoken. Have you enjoyed all the TikToks I've sent you? Did you like the new trailer for Kaguya-sama Season 3? That's the real question.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for Kaguya-sama. I'm so stressed right now, but life is life. And my birthday's on Monday, so that's a nice, new thing. New world.
Damn it.
Thing.
I knew I wanted to start this episode off with something. I wanted to do it by shouting happy birthday, but I forgot.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I would have remembered had, this episode actually recorded like it was fucking supposed to whenever I clicked it. But no. I clicked it. It didn't record. We got off on a tangent. Here we are. However, happy birthday.
Thank you. It's coming to the end of Scorpio season. So have to embrace it while it's still here.
You can do it.
Embrace it. And I don't know. It's I have opened a couple packages sent from my parents that are just like boxes of beautifully wrapped presents. So the beautifully wrapped presents are now sitting
beautifully destroyed.
Not yet. I've been very good, and they are sitting on my side table next to my sofa, and they will remain there until Monday.
But can you keep your excitement contained until Monday?
It's been 3 days, I think, since I received the parcel, and I haven't opened them. So yeah, they'll probably stick around until Monday.
Well, allow me to be the devil on your shoulder and tell you that you should open them right after we're done recording.
See, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to save until Monday. I was always that kid at Christmas, though, that was like, I'm fine waiting until, everyone's awake. I may have gone into people's rooms and bugged them, but I didn't have, the Christmas Eve present. I never had that. Or people sometimes open their stockings early and stuff. I never did any of that. It was always on Christmas Day for me. And after breakfast. That was the rule.
Yeah, I get that. I was never one to do that either. I guess I've just never really looked at Christmas as this grand old thing. Don't get me wrong, as a kid, I loved my presents, but at the same time, I was never like, ooh, I gotta go sneak a peek, or I gotta figure out what it was. Typically, I kind of had an idea of what I was gonna get, so it's just kind of like, meh, I'll get to it whenever I get to it. And now, as an adult, I'm even more just like, I have to be around people, social anxiety. Ooh.
Yeah, no, when I was a kid, we used to have like 3 Christmases, because I would have Christmas at home, Christmas with my mum's parents, then Christmas with my dad's mum, and usually my Uncle Nicholas. But I don't know. It's since we've come to Canada, and even before then, we've always had quite a small environment. I have a big family, but we always kept it kind of small. I don't know.
You know what's hard to believe?
What?
We're already talking about Christmas again.
I fully think it's commercialism being like forcing. There was Christmas presents in Dollarama in August.
Now, you see, I can believe that, because pretty much as soon as it went from October 31st with all the Halloween shit out, all the candy, to where I swear Walmart and literally everywhere else like had a overnight crew just come in and completely change every fucking thing, because it immediately went from spooky to green and red everywhere, Mariah Carey on the loudspeakers. It's like Thanksgiving doesn't even fucking exist.
Yeah, especially for you Americans. You have another holiday coming up.
Yeah, we do. You've already had your Thanksgiving.
Yes, Canadians have. Although in Newfoundland they celebrate Guy Fawkes, so there is still that in one part of Canada, and then obviously in the UK as well. There's still Guy Fawkes.
I'm sorry. What
was yesterday, the 5th of November?
I'm sorry. What?
Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder something and blancmange. That's not right, but it rhymes. It rhymes with whatever the thing is, and that's what came to my head. Okay.
What is this holiday?
It's a dude a while ago called Guy Fawkes. Was Italian. He was Italian. The dude a while ago was Italian, and now we celebrate it every year.
Is this how Mario was made? I'm confused.
Yeah, not quite. But yeah, he and his buddies, I actually feel like he was a lackey, if I can remember correctly. Like, he wasn't one of the top guys of the group, but we use his name. Tried to burn down the Parliament building, was unsuccessful, and thus burned at the stake.
Oh. And
now every November we have bonfire night on the 5th of November, where we make giant bonfires and have a parade and set off fireworks. Sometimes a carnival comes into town. And in certain villages, you will find people making scarecrow-like beings out of straw and whatnot. And burning them on said bonfires. And it's a national treasure.
What the hell?
And it was my favourite holiday growing up, because it was 3 days before my birthday. And there was always a parade annually every year. And I was usually on the parade because of either my school or scouts or something else. And it was, I'd say, a much bigger event than Halloween. Halloween was kind of chill. Guy Fawkes is the big event.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've been intrigued.
Yeah, I remember when I was little, and I remember Halloween being like, oh, are people going to do the American holiday? That's how it kind of was growing up. Like, it was like certain houses wouldn't celebrate Halloween just because it hadn't quite gotten to, I assume now it's much bigger for like regular houses and stuff, but like the commercial side of things hadn't really gotten to the UK, so it was harder to physically purchase like outdoor decorations. So you would see like the pumpkins and the actual kind of more like ritualistic kind of stuff, that, you know, the pumpkins, the hay bits, the figures that are handcrafted, but you wouldn't see like blow up, you know, dragons and
spooky shit and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Fog machines.
Yeah, exactly. Because you couldn't, like, they weren't for sale. You couldn't buy them.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, and especially considering that literally 5 days after, there's another holiday that is much bigger and more of a group celebration. Like, Halloween is an individual thing, really, where you kind of stick to your own unit. whereas Guy Fawkes is a parade, so the whole town comes together.
Now, is it just everybody individually does their own bonfire, or does the parade also consist of a bonfire in which a scarecrow is getting toasted?
So that depends. It's quite common for people to have their own backyard bonfires. But depending on smaller villages and stuff, there will usually be like a general park. We had the Rec, that's what we called it. It was just a general park and the carnival would come to the Rec. So there was like a helter-skelter and a merry-go-round and then some like carnival games during November. And they would set up there because it was a big open field. And part of what they did was also to have a giant bonfire. But when that happened, obviously they have a lot more like regulations. So you couldn't go sit in front of the bonfire because there would be like barriers to keep you away from the flames. So it was less personal. So most people would go to the parades, enjoy the parade, go play the games, buy some food, and then go home, you know, in the evening and then make their own bonfire and sit around and have a couple of pints, you know what I mean?
So is it considered sacrilegious to make s'mores off of said scarecrow as it is burning?
S'mores weren't a thing at that time in the UK.
The hell you say to me?
That's another American treat that hadn't crossed the pond yet. I mean, it had. My perception of it is also a little different because my godmother is from New York. So when I was little, I'd go around her house and she would make s'mores and be like, here, have a thing, you know? So, but like, I remember it also being like, that's an American thing. And it was always like a foreign food.
I mean, although it may be foreign, it is delicious.
Yeah. Can't have them now, though. The gelatin in them. Not vegetarian.
Makes sense. Yep, those are made from crushed up cow bones. There's your fun fact for the day here at the BnB Anime Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. So I assume, like, the way that I'm talking about this is very early 2000s. Like, that's how it is in my brain. So I'm sure things are very different now.
Possibly.
Well, I know that, like, the commercial side of things is definitely ramped up for Halloween over there. And I quite often see, like, it being more of a big deal, but it's not just, like, a thing that, you know, teens go and celebrate to get drunk and then go and celebrate the next holiday 5 days later and get drunk. You know what I mean? It's, I feel like it's more of a kid thing. But I remember, like, there being kids in my class at school that wouldn't dress up for Halloween. And in school, like, you know, when you do, like, oh, let's do fun class celebrations, they were all centered around Guy Fawkes. They weren't centered around Halloween at that time of year.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially because they can then teach us history at the same time.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Why not turn something into a lesson just to get the kids involved?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's Guy Fawkes. Your lesson of the day. Your lesson on British culture for the day.
I have been enlightened.
Yes.
So I, during our break, have done a few things.
Have you really?
I have. So My Hero movie, for one. Fantastic, mate.
Yes.
So good.
Good.
Solid 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. I can't remember what I gave it last week. I can't even remember if I rated it at all. But yeah, solid 9.5 out of 10. Hands down, best My Hero film to date. May or may not be my favorite shonen film to date.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. Plus, it was nice to hang out with friends, go get a metric fuck ton of sushi beforehand. We are not going to discuss how much money I spent on sushi, probably close to $60. Who cares?
Nice.
Regardless, I had a lot of sushi. I watched a film. It was fun. I kind of got into the Halloween spirit a little bit this year, maybe. I gave out candy. That's about it.
Oh, did you see any cute kids?
Yes.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah, so that was fun. Big important piece of news thing might be, I don't know, who cares. I may or may not have given out candy with now said girlfriend. That's the thing.
Ooh.
I can no longer make jokes about being sad and alone. I will still probably do that anyway.
That's so cute.
Yeah, that thing happened.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. That's cute. Very cute.
Yeah, that was... Anything else exciting happened this past week? Oh, okay. So, the reason we're recording so late, I mean, y'all that are listening to this, you have absolutely no clue how late we are actually recording. But anyway, we had inventory today. And we had the best inventory I've ever had to date. I'm sure you're familiar with inventory and everything from working retail in the past.
Yep.
So, you know how typically after it's all said and done, you'll have to go through and find your variances and all that fun stuff?
Yes.
And typically you'll know your shrink, whether you're over or under by said dollar amount. So whenever I was at my past job, did I ever tell you how bad that inventory was?
No, I don't think you did.
So during that inventory, back whenever I first moved back to where I am now, and store manager at said store was fired and replaced with a new manager, we had to do inventory shortly thereafter. And the reason said manager was fired was because loss prevention had the whistle blown on what he had been doing. However, nobody knew just kind of how bad inventory was because of what was happening.
Right.
So the shrink on that inventory was $55,000.
Oh.
That's how much material was missing.
Okay.
You want to know what our shrink was on this inventory?
Yes.
At the new job, just take a wild guess.
I don't know, it's going to be something dramatically different, like $50.
4 cents.
Yeah.
4 cents. We were over by 4 cents. I am baffled by this. Like, my brain cannot comprehend the absolute difference between going from one job having a $55,000 loss to being over by 4 cents. My brain, I don't understand.
So who got the 4 cents? The company.
I was going to say the company. I guess our back page. I guess somehow our back page gets padded by 4 cents, which doesn't mean anything because for our budget for October, we were actually short by about $1,600. So, you know, that's probably where that's going to recoup the losses there.
Yeah.
But, you know, that happened. That's kind of been my past 2 weeks. It has been very eventful, but at the same time, because of inventory, stressful.
Inventory is the worst.
Oh, it is the absolute worst. Not only that, but at the prior job I had, we had scanners. At this job, we had to write those bitches in a book by hand.
Yeah.
Not fun.
No, not great.
But you know what was great?
What?
The amount of news we got this week.
Oh, that's
I say this week. Also last week, kind of together.
Okay.
Oh, another thing I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
You should really watch Comey Can't Communicate.
Okay.
I realize I've been saying this ever since the show started, and also realize it's releasing week to week, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. But I highly recommend it. I have not laughed so much in my life. It's a great time. And I relate to it on almost a spiritual level. I wish I could say I was joking. I am not.
That's funny.
But it's great. It's fantastic. If you need something that's just a very easy watch to where you can laugh your ass off and have a great time, it's on Netflix. Episode 3 came out 3 days ago at time of this releasing. So check it out. I cannot recommend anything more.
Nice.
But yeah, news.
News.
Trying to get back on track. So, you know how we talked about Fruits Baskets getting a film, I think? Did we talk about that?
Yes, I think we did.
Yes, so it has officially been confirmed that it is going to be releasing in February, and not only is it being released in February, but it's going to have a prequel bit covering Toru's parents, and there's going to be new epilogue scenes being written by the manga creator.
Right, okay.
So a lot of extra content, and I think the film is pretty much going to span the entire, I guess, new arc.
Right.
So I guess if you're too lazy to watch all 3 seasons, I guess you can watch the film and kind of get it. I don't get it. However, that prequel bit kind of makes it worth going to see, in a sense. At least that's what I can think of.
Yeah. I always have a bit of a reluctant with things like this because, like, I feel like I've had so many really good long-running things end in disaster when they just keep producing more content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you get to the point where it's like, can we be done, please? Because you're just ruining my memory of this. Harry Potter is, I think, a fantastic example for a lot of people for that.
Yes, I can completely agree on that. But I feel like with this, you're just getting a little prequel bit about characters that are never really fleshed out. At least they weren't fleshed out in the original Fruits Basket from what we've seen. So I don't know if the new one has kind of given any more info on Toru and her parents. I don't think
so. No.
So at least we will get that, and also like an extra epilogue scene. That's cool. That's fine. We got one of those at the end of I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and that kind of made me happy.
Yeah.
But also, talking about films that are going to be in theaters, we officially have a date of when the tickets for Sword Art are going to be going on sale. November 12th.
Coming up soon.
Yes. So I am currently trying to get a list of all of my friends that want to go, because at this point it has become a game to see how many people I can actually get to go with me to go see anime films now. So we didn't have that big of a turnout for My Hero. I was kind of sad. There was only 5 of us that went. So hopefully we can get more for Sword Art. I'm hoping so, because I am very, very excited for this film to come out December 3rd.
Yeah.
So if you want to get your tickets, November 12th, you know when to get them. Just go look on Twitter or Google it. I don't know, however you find your information these days. More shit coming out and being announced. First of all, there is a new trailer for Kaguya-sama Season 3. It has been announced to be releasing in April of 2022. If you haven't seen the trailer, my God, go see it. Because I was dying. I couldn't stop laughing. I was crying. It was great. Like, I've never seen something just break the fourth wall in such a manner and just be as funny as that was. Also, apparently, if you watch anime, you're just an otaku now. That's what the show kind of beat into me from that trailer. Did you get the same kind of vibe?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. You know, I feel like most people who indulge in anime, especially during COVID times, have become otakus.
Yeah, I can kind of get that. COVID has kind of changed the entire anime landscape.
Yeah, well, we physically cannot go outside, so yes, we are otakus.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but anime bonsai. Oh.
What else do we got?
And Tonikawa is officially getting a second season as well. It has officially been confirmed, and I'm trying to look at the cover now to see if it kind of gives any indication of when it might be releasing, because it was actually announced on the cover of the Weekly Shonen Sunday magazine. But it seems like that's all that was announced. There's nothing official on it other than just 2022. But I'm excited.
Excited.
It was good. It was adorable. It was cute. I had a great time. Also, so apparently there's going to be an anime that has gotten its first trailer and list of cast revealed. And it is apparently an RPG real estate anime.
No.
I am very confused about how I feel about this.
You said those words and my brain just went. You said those words and my brain just went on slow motion. What the?
Yeah, RPG real estate anime.
Okay, I mean, why not? What?
I am 100% here for it.
Okay. Are we moving on?
Yes, I am totally ready to move on. So, our topic for this week, I don't think we've actually named it. I think we just ranted and raved about it for like the first 5 minutes of the episode. To Your Eternity.
Yes.
It was created by the same individual, whose name I'll have pulled up here in a minute because I'm totally not ready. Yoshitoki Oima. And she is the same creator that made A Silent Voice. But this one, completely different story. A completely different style of story as well.
Yes.
But so the manga that was created by Yoshitoki Oima was released in November of 2016 and is currently running to present for a total of 16 volumes.
Mm-hmm.
And the television series, directed by Masahiko Murata, had its original run from April 12th of 2021 until August 30th of 2021 for a total of 20 episodes. It was made by studio Brainbase.
Yeah.
And Brainbase has done some things like Durabra, My Little Monster, my teen romantic comedy Snafu, and most recently, outside of To Your Eternity, there is Inspector. And then the second season of To Your Eternity has already been confirmed, with the director returning for October of 2022.
Yeah.
Because this left on a fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about who voiced the narration. I'm trying to find it because, he doesn't end up being... Okay, there we go. Found him. Because that voice, I know it from somewhere. Oh, last week. Well, not last week, week before. Yoromichi Onisan.
Oh, I see it.
I was like, I know him from somewhere. And that's why. It was because, he was Amon.
But, yeah, they also do a lot of different, they've been in a lot of different stuff, so it makes sense.
Yeah. It was so, forward in my mind that I knew it had to be something that was either really prominent, something I really liked, or something that we'd done recently. And it was recent. That's why.
Yep, that 100% makes sense.
Yes. Okay, so my information.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Anime Planet it has scored a 4.38 out of 5, or quick math 67. It's a 8.67. Yeah, 8.67. No, wrong way around. 8.76 out of 10. I did the hard part and then just couldn't think of the number.
You do it.
Or on my anime list is an 8.45 out of 10. So high scores.
Yeah, it's sitting, I think, on average at about, an 8.5?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair average.
Which is directly contrary to its drop rate.
Yes, the drop rate is higher than I was expecting, but also I feel like it fits because of the content of the show and because of a couple characters specifically that I think are going to be incredibly polarizing whilst watching.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, there were a couple characters that were a detraction on the show. I understand why they were the way they were. They rubbed me the wrong way a bit. We'll get into that.
Mm-hmm. And there's one that's very, very problematic there towards the end.
Yes, yeah. But the drop rate is an 11.25, so not super high, but also much higher than I'm used to seeing, especially for recent shows. I feel like this is probably on parallel with the second season of Promised Neverland, which doesn't fit considering the amount of, for the difference between this one and the Promised Neverland.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
think. Oh yeah. What was the rating on the second season of Promised Neverland?
I'm trying to find it.
Because I hope it's like a 3 or a 4.
The Promised Neverland second season. Okay. The second season on Anime Planet has a 3.41 out of 5. That's still a 7. Is it? No, it's a 6.8. 6.8. I can count. Still 6.8. That's higher than I thought it was going to be.
It's higher than it should be.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try on my anime list as well because 5.45 out of 10.
Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Sounds much better. I mean, still too high, but I mean, hey.
I feel like
at least it looked good.
I feel like it's fine for the people that haven't read the manga. If you're taking those into consideration, because I feel like the show did a decent job of being very entertaining for people that have no context.
I mean, but even if you don't know the stuff about the manga, how could you feel fulfilled watching that?
Ending? I agree that the ending falls short, but I don't think, if you don't know the context, I don't feel like the ending falls short enough to rate it like a 5. I feel like you would rate it like a 7, which pulls it up enough for the people that rated it a 2 to make it average out in the 5s. You get me?
I get it, but at the same time, I don't. Because brain does not compute the level of bullshit that we had to endure.
Yeah, I'm still trying. Oh, there it is. Promise Neverland second season had a 9.05 drop rate. This is a higher drop rate.
Again, makes no sense.
Although that was my old system, I think. So let me just whip out my calculator and see if I update the numbers, what it becomes.
Due to Blue's brain exploding, we are currently dealing with technical difficulties. We will be back with you after a word from our sponsors. Oh, wait, we sponsor ourselves.
15,661. 2566 divided by 15,661 equals... Oh, that does make a difference.
Okay.
So it's now a 16.38%.
That sounds better.
Yes. Update the spreadsheet. 16.38.
Much better. Okay, so see, that makes much more sense. I'm here for that.
Okay. I still feel like this week is high, though.
I mean, it is high. Don't get me wrong. I wonder if it's just because people cried a lot. That's why they dropped it.
I think I wish it showed on what episode people dropped, because I think that would be so fascinating. Because to me,
we could go down a rabbit hole with that, though. Like if we had access to that kind of knowledge,
right? Yeah,
we could really just sit and pick apart like where animes go wrong. I mean, I wish we had that knowledge. No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Although, if I'd take a guess without getting spoilery about it, I could almost bet it was probably around the island.
Yeah, that's my thinking as well. Is I think it's after the first arc, the first real arc is finished. I think the beginning of the second arc is so frustrating, and you're so upset. I think that may be a spoiler. I'm gonna put tentative spoiler hats on now because I may spoil things, but we already said that we cried like 6 times. But yeah, so like,
and that's not just saying I cried.
No.
Blue cried.
Yeah, and I'm not a crier, but this one had tears a-leaking. I will say, okay, no, this is definitely a spoiler, but I'm going to say it's a tentative spoiler because I'm not telling you any details, so bear that in mind while you listen to the next few words that I'm going to say. This was the saddest first episode I have experienced in a long time.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'd never thought in a million years I would cry at the end of a first episode.
Yeah.
I did not realize that I could get so attached to a character and then get my heart ripped out from under me.
Yeah, in like 20 minutes. This episode, it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to have to take a break after one episode because it's so emotional. It's so emotional.
And then skip ahead 3 episodes and it happens fucking again.
It's so exhausting. This show is exhausting to watch.
Oh, 100%.
But I agree that when you get to the beginning of the second core, it kind of gives you a break from that exhaustion because of the nature of the characters that are introduced.
It's like a weird dynamic of like trying to develop characters, but also trying to develop them really quickly because it's like there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I agree. It does plateau for a bit. And I would even say dips down. And there's a couple of characters that I think they try and make you feel for that I just never built up a good relationship with.
Definitely not. Now, there were some in that last little bit to where like I kind of got attached to.
Yeah.
But then like it's definitely a massive dip. I think until the last episode.
I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. It's like you get to the 5th cry and then you just have a break for like 6 or 7 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. There's several.
Yeah, and then the last episode it pulls it back again. So anyway,
again, that's the thing. Like I feel like the last episode was just a return to
the first
normality.
Episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, anyway, so I don't want to go into too many details right now because I am going to give you a general overview of the show. Before then, we officially put on spoiler chicken hats, but I'm sure if you didn't want any spoilers, you've probably already dipped. But yeah, To Your Eternity is about a being, a orb that was sent to the Earth that has to learn and gain as it goes, because it is nothing. It starts off as a rock and continues on that way, and slowly over time it gains vessels that it is able then to use to learn and grow and become a being that is designed to absorb knowledge. Basically, it's like I can't remember how they described it, but it's trying to...
It is a being that was sent to the Earth to be able to obtain as much information and preserve as much information as possible, because of the big bad in the show is trying to erase all of creation off of the planet.
Yeah. So it's preserving everything, and the creature ends up becoming a boy who we know, and he then, it's his journey throughout life being an immortal being, Fushi, while he's learning how to function, like learning how to not just like growing, but like learning how to walk and feed himself and like absolute basics, going from zero knowledge of anything to becoming someone who can fight the big bad of the show. It is rated a 17 plus, or an R. That is very fitting. It is a very intense show, not for children. Reason why I say this more than anything, I mean, there's blood, guts, and gore and stuff, but because of the emotional content, it is so draining and exhausting and difficult to watch at times that I feel like it could be very painful for people to watch, so bear that in mind whilst you're in it. There are going to be several triggers throughout the show of certain different things. Again, I can't really say the names of the triggers without spoiling certain scenes, so just be aware that I am going to put a general trigger warning on this show. And if you feel like that is something that is applicable to you, please go onto like Wikipedia or something. They have an episode list where you can go through episode by episode and see if there's anything in there specifically that is going to be triggering to you. But it's a very, very, very intense show and hard to watch.
Agreed, 100%.
Yes. I will also say that the OP was done by Hikaru Utada, if I can read my own handwriting. I wrote it literally before we started recording, and still can't read it. And they did Pink Blood for the OP. And then Mediator was by Masashi Hamauzu for the ED.
OP was okay.
Yeah.
ED was also kind of okay.
I don't think they retracted from anything. I think they were just there.
Yeah, like, I guess it kind of fit, like, the easy nature of the show, I guess. But it didn't add anything to it, for sure. I definitely felt like the OPs and EDs kind of detracted. But also, I like the animation and, like, the storytelling of the OP. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, music kind of meh.
Yes, I do feel like that there are clips in the OP that do show spoilers.
I feel like it kind of gives you something to look forward to in a way, because although it kind of spoils, not really.
No, it's not showing you details, but you can definitely put two and two together, especially if you're close to the episode. Because there were a couple of times when I was like, I know what's going to happen next because I can see that tiny little bit, and now I know what that looks like already, so I know what that is. Whereas in the beginning, you don't know what that is because you don't know you haven't seen it before. But once you've seen the thing, then you know what the thing is.
But I'm definitely like, ooh, new characters coming up.
Yes, yeah. Spoiler Chicken Hat's officially on.
So just to kind of kick things off with the Spoiler Chicken Hat thing coming back on, I just did a little bit of reading through the Wikipedia. I'm about to cry again.
Oh no.
The boy that Fushi becomes in the first episode, he doesn't actually have a name.
Oh.
I don't know why that hurts me to this degree, but to know that character we never actually got a name out of, that hurts me to like a whole new degree of just my heart.
The first episode, I genuinely think is probably, I think that hit me the hardest over anything, like even throughout the rest of the show. For some reason, the first episode is damagingly painful to watch. And I think it's because it probably hits on the vast majority of our, like, intense human fears being a human being, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't think there's a single person in the entire world that wouldn't share the very fear that this expresses.
Mm-hmm.
Of
dying
completely alone.
Mm-hmm.
Surrounded by nothing, with no way of escape. It's horrifyingly, it's so, it's intense.
Oh, it is. I've never cried in the first episode of anything, and this, like, that broke me. A few episodes later, I get broken again. I'm not sure which one broke me harder, but I know, like, it broke me hard. Like, I was sobbing.
Yes.
So, again, like, it takes a lot to, like, get me to the point to where, like, I'm sobbing. At this point, it's canon for me to basically cry like a little bitch about everything that we cover. But, I mean, it broke me.
Yeah.
So, kudos to the show for that.
Yeah, it's like, I think this is why I found the second core then so frustrating, because the knowledge that this creator, that this team of people could make me feel so much with so little, and then 10 episodes later I'm like just like done. I'm like don't care. And then they're trying to pull on my heartstrings, and it's just not working because I haven't built up the same relationship with the character, even though I've had 5 episodes of them, and I had 10 minutes with this first character, and I was already so emotionally invested, and I was sitting there and I was watching it and I was getting frustrated because I was like, you know how to do this well. You've proven to me in 1 episode that you know how to do this well. Yet I feel nothing for these characters.
I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword to do, kind of like what they did in the early stages.
Yeah.
Because by the time you encounter the second incident of what happens, you definitely get the feeling of don't get fucking attached to anyone.
Yeah. And that's not hard to do with the personality of the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then it's just kind of as the main character grows and then like slowly starts to meet more people and you kind of learn more about the power. That's whenever you finally understand like it kind of makes you want to wall off, especially what happens with the third individual.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was at that point, like I was fucking done. Just the way that episode ended, like I would almost kind of mentally checked out.
Yeah.
Because I watched the last 15 episodes in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have no self-control or self-respect for myself, but also I had to hurry up and get this shit watched because if we were to record this last week whenever we were supposed to, I'd been fucked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, glad we held off a week. Glad I got to do my hero because that was fantastic, but still.
Yeah, okay, let's go into it. Let's talk about it kind of subject by subject. I took notes during this show watching, but my notes are ridiculous. So I'll just chime in with them every now and again. Maybe I'll send you a picture of. Let me do that because this is.
I'm very intrigued. Because I feel like almost a good way to talk about this is kind of like character by character in a way.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair.
But just like the embodiment characters, because you can kind of tell a story along the way of all the other people that get added in.
Yeah. There you go.
Because I feel like it just kind of centers, what the hell?
My notes.
Dickwad brother. All right, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, frustrated. I added an organ to you.
Honestly, like, It was so casually said, and I'm just like, how did we gloss
Oh my
it?
god. If I fucking leave this in, everybody's gonna be so fucking confused. Oh my god. This is amazing. Oh my god.
So these are my notes. They're basically, for those of you guys listening at home, they're basically like a sentence long, and I probably took one or maybe two little notes down per episode. The first episode is literally just saddest first episode ever. That's it. That's my notes. So, you know, I'll chime in with them every now and again as we go. But yeah.
Oh, it's a good thing Wikipedia's got our back with an episode list.
Yeah, because I was not actually paying attention to the plot line at all. I was just emotional. So yeah. So okay, first episode, nameless boy in, like, I don't know, the Yukon, Nunavut, somewhere in the mountains, in the ice land field. Nothing there. And everyone around him is dead. He's buried all of his elders, and he has been told that if he goes due south, he will run into some mountains, and over those mountains is life, is people, and they have things called fruits and vegetables that he's never heard of. And he was supposed to go with the group of, like, the parents and the other kids and stuff that went 5 years beforehand, but he hadn't because his dog had bitten him, and he had to stay behind. And then he ended up burying all of the elders that were there, and 5 years passed and they've never returned, and so he's just been feeding himself with, like, whaling and fishing and stuff. And then he then gets the dog, which is Joanne, who is the rock, is the because Joanne dies on a rock. The rock is him. He becomes Joanne. Joanne then goes back to the boy, but has no knowledge of how to Joanne. So then the boy packs up all of his belongings and sets out due south until he finds the ruins of the people that set out 5 years beforehand, and he gets injured along the way, and then he goes back home because he can't go any further, and he's sad and he's done. And then he dies of a fever in bed, and it's... Oh.
I'm not sad, you're sad.
And he's like, what, 12?
I wouldn't say he's 12. I feel like he's, like, misaged in this. I would like to say he's probably 15 or 16, maybe.
Okay.
Because Fushi also doesn't age.
Yes.
So I would definitely say he's probably early high school, if I had to guess.
So let's put him at like 13, 14, just so we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Early teenage years. My word.
Just, it sucks, man. Like, it's so much emotional pain. Like, it does not do it justice for us to sit here and try to explain what happens and just explain how attached you get to just this white-haired boy that is the most precious thing on the earth, and you want to protect him.
Mm.
And then he dies in a way that absolutely no one, like, it's a genuine fear that I think almost everyone has at some point in their life, of just fearing to be alone whenever you die.
I feel like I feel like it's like that's a survival brain thing. I don't even necessarily feel like that is a personal fear for people. I feel like it's built into our bones as social creatures. I don't feel like our DNA can stop us from having this fear, you know? Mm-hmm. It's so powerfully human to feel that.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah, anyway, it's ridiculously painful to watch that episode. It almost gets to the point where I recommend skipping the first episode because of how damaging it is.
No, watch it. Be sad with us. And relish in our pain and also join us.
Yeah.
We welcome thee.
It's so good. The way that they do it is so good. It's a technical masterpiece of manipulating people. But
100%.
Yeah, it just is one of those things where it's like, if you are not in a good mindset, do not watch this. Do not.
No, you will be big sad. Also, one thing I want to bring up, the fucking title cards in between and how it slowly updates over time.
Mm-hmm.
like, I just took these screen grabs kind of as I was going, just to kind of prove a point and see if you had the same kind of emotional, like, connection to it that I did. And you can also tell whenever I started taking these. Holy shit, Apple, why are your screenshots so fucking big? Like, that is ridiculous. 32 megs just for these 3 screenshots? What the hell?
Yes. Yeah, I had noticed.
That. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had noticed.
I'm getting sad again.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on. So then, we now have our rock has turned into a wolf, which has now turned into a boy. So he can now take the form of the boy. And he walks across south because he knows that's the way he's supposed to go. And he's constantly dying because he hasn't learnt yet to take care of the human body. But once he dies, he just then regenerates and comes back again. And this happens over and over and over again until he finally bumps into our next group of characters. Do you want to start it off with this group?
So, our next group takes place in a little village, and this little kind of mini arc is centered around a little girl named March, who is like 3 or 4 years old. She loves dolls. However, she has been selected to be sacrificed at an altar to appease the god named Oniguma, which is just a giant white bear. And so March is selected, and you get to see kind of her journey, kind of going through the process of what it's like to be selected, kind of everybody telling her goodbyes. You also get introduced to her friend, although she calls her a sister of Perona, who is I could believe they were sisters. Like, she looks like she's just a fucking 18-year-old version of her.
Yeah.
But anyway, so as they kind of go through the thing, March is being transported up the village. However, Perona creates a distraction. So March is able to run away. She stumbles down into a ravine type thing, which is where she encounters our boy, who is currently regenerating because he fell off said ravine running from said bear. And he is basically a husk, slowly regenerating, and he scares off the people that are chasing away from March.
And this is where we get one of my comments from my notes, where I just said, coolest half-eaten to human transition ever. This was the point of the show where you get to see some seriously cool shit. It's like, so sad, so depressing. Oh my god, he's putting himself back together again, and he just sucked in his own eyeball.
It's really cool to see. Like, it's very well done.
Yeah, super well done.
Kudos to the animators for doing that, because that looks sick.
It really did. It was very, very good, yeah. Enjoyed that section. Also, only a kid could be that chill, is my next little comment. Because he sucks himself back together again. March is scared at first, and then, 3 seconds later, just fine.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? You saved me. You're cool. We can be friends. And then just starts following him and just pestering the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But our boy gives no shits.
No.
None whatsoever. He's just blindly walking.
I don't even think at this point he knows how to give a shit. He is still...
No. I think it was just because that's all that he ever saw the nameless boy do, was just walk. That's all he knew. So I guess he kind of figured he would figure out whatever he needed to do at that point.
Yeah, and he had only been fed up until that point as a dog. He hadn't ever had to acquire food of his own, nor use a human system to do so. He just always relied on somebody else. The boy had even taught him how to eat, that he put it in your mouth kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, just put your face in the bowl and consume.
Yeah. Also, people in this world do not take full damage.
Nope, absolutely not.
So
our main character, who is immortal, takes more fall damage than the other people in the show.
Yeah, at one point, Parana falls off a cliff, and is fine, like a cliff, not like a 6 foot.
Not like a 10-foot drop, no cliff.
Yeah, like
totally fine.
Like white cliffs of Dover into forestry below, except instead of ocean. Like Cliff Richard. Okay. So don't take full damage. Human to wolf transition, 10 out of 10. Wolf painful squeaks, 0 out of 10. Do not enjoy.
Nope, not at all.
No, and that's consistent throughout the whole anime. Whenever he hurts as a wolf, he squeaks, and oh my god, is that so triggering.
Yes. Also, voice acting on this, especially as the show goes, fucking 10 out of 10.
So good.
Oh, the wail he does in episode 20, whenever
don't even.
final.
Don't even. I don't want to hear about it. It's
like that's what got me. Like just
that me too.
The wail and the squeak.
Yeah,
that squeak at the end is what just like sent me over the edge. Like, oh my god,
these squeaks are painful. There are squeaks from the wolf. There are squeaks from the children. There are squeaks from him, and they are always the most painful thing that I think you could ever listen to. It's so horrible.
I'm crying. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay.
This show is hard to watch. I don't like it.
Oh, but we got to get through it. We can do it.
Okay. Anyway, so then March doesn't end up being sacrificed.
Yeah, the chick who was there to sacrifice her just completely changes her mind.
Yeah, just casually. She's like we don't need you anymore. It's cool.
Yeah, she's like, oh, so you, little girl, you can control this immortal dog person thing. We can use you. And also, Perona's like, you can't take her and not take me. So she's like, fine, all of you can come with me. I'll make use of you somehow. Yeah,
so they, the manipulation of this is very clear very early on. You can see that bad girl is bad. Because the way she words this is like, you can't go back to the village. They won't accept you because she's supposed to have been sacrificed. So I'll tell them that she's dead, and then you have to come with me to the village. And it's like, oh no.
Because again, I like Perona's way of like, as long as we present them with the pelt of the bear, they'll accept it, and she'll be able to come back. But they're like, no. They're gonna think that you displease the gods, so you gotta come with me.
Yeah, it's like they could have just said, "Hey, everybody, come see this giant dead bear with spikes."
Yeah, just old arrows just plunged all into its body.
Yeah. Anyway, so then they go to the city, have a good old grand time. Then they go sit down for a meal, and just kidding, she's bad. Oh, shock, horror! Didn't know that. She put sleeping agent in their food, and now they've been imprisoned.
One thing I will say, though, the continuity of that, like, poisoning the food.
Very smart.
Yeah, like, the way they keep bringing that back, like, 10 out of 10 on a continuity perspective.
Agreed, yeah. Yeah, very smart. The letter as well, they brought that back up, too.
Yep.
I'm just can you tell I'm drained? This show drained me.
I feel that. I feel that this is definitely one of the hardest times I think we've had talking about something.
Yeah, I'm like trying to be like entertaining, but I just want to have a nap.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to go back into tears.
It's
like I'm still emotionally hurt.
Me too.
Like I finished up episode 20 on the way home. Like just so I could like get ready for the episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah. No, I can still hear it, you know? I think that's the hard. It hasn't dulled enough yet to where I'm like, oh, that was sad. It's still like present in the
like
forefront.
It's still
of my,
here.
Yeah.
Like I still have tears just sitting behind my eyes, and I can't wipe my eyes because my eyes hurt and are rubbed raw from all the crying I've done.
It's I don't want to watch anything ever again.
You want to just have like a binge of Tanaka-kun after this? Can we do that?
Yeah, I need to. This show is so challenging.
Like, the show provided me with a lot of good laughs, too. Like, there's some stuff to kind of counterbalance it and just, like, make you fall in love with new characters, and then it fucking takes it away from you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It really is. The show is blatantly forcing you to sit down and study the terror of immortality.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because everybody sits down and think, oh, it would be cool to be immortal. But whenever you sit down and think about it, just for one, how absolutely lonely and sad that would be. But two, having to deal with everyone around you, everyone you've ever cared about and loved, dying repeatedly over and over and over again.
And feeling, and the fact that that wasn't enough for this show. Because they had to add in the added effect that Fushi feels the pain of anything around him.
Mm-hmm.
So his friend dies, he feels that, not just physically, and not just emotionally, but physically as well, whilst it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Not only that, but you have Fushi, who is an emotionless husk that doesn't understand anything, pulling a full Violet Evergarden, learning emotions in front of our own fucking eyes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Why do people watch this for fun?
I don't know. I watched it for fun and ended up hating my life.
This isn't fun. This isn't a fun
It's not fun. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, it's a phenomenal watch.
It's a technical masterpiece for a vast majority of this. Like I said, there are some characters that I'm going to get into a little bit later, but the vast majority of this, especially the first core and second core, like the first episode, first group, and second group are so incredibly well done.
It's literally first core and second core. Like, you had it right the first time. First core, fucking fantastic. Second core is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Literally, of ups and downs.
Yeah.
First core, I would legitimately give a 10 out of 10. Second core is where we're going to have some discussions.
Yeah, 100%. And, okay, anyway, moving on.
So, anyway, they get imprisoned by military bitch, because she's like, all right, I'll make use of y'all. I'm going to basically turn Fushi into some sort of act to make money. And the rest of you are just going to be prisoners. And also, while you're at it, March, you can clean up the bear. Because at this point, Giant Bear was still alive.
Yes, yeah. So they spent 6 months away from the village. So from the time that March was pulled away to be sacrificed, to the time when the message returns at the end of that period, it's 6 months. And so the vast majority of that is spent in the prison system. That's one thing that I think the show does really, really well, is that it definitely gives enough actual time for things to happen. We don't necessarily hear about the time. It's not stated until like, oh, it's been 4 years, or oh, it's been 6 months. But it makes so much more sense to be able to like categorize it in your brain than like, oh yeah, they were there and back again in a day, like a lot of other shows do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're in the city, and Fushi is pretty much spending the vast majority of his time in wolf form. That's kind of how he is most comfortable at this time. He does go into his boy form, but yeah, you kind of see him more as a wolf for a lot of this. And yeah, March is cleaning up the bear. She's taking care of the bear. And then, yeah, they try and escape. So they do the things to try and escape. They get out, and as they are outside, they also meet an old lady here. Well, they met an old lady before. She was the one who like picked March out as the one to be sacrificed. And they take her with them throughout this part of the show. And they're escaping in a carriage. Evil Chick and her buddies are riding on horses behind them. March has an existential crisis. Decides that she wants to do something useful to save them. So she jumps in front of an arrow that is going to hit Parana, and gets shot in the back through to her stomach, and subsequently dies.
I'm hurt again.
Yeah. So, because it wasn't enough for us to witness a young teen boy die, we have now witnessed a very young child die.
And then a child who you get to see her spirit afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's kind of alluded to throughout the show that Fushi can kind of communicate with the spirits that he possesses in a way.
Yes. And that they haven't fully moved on in a way, because there is a brief second where you get to see another one of the spirit and March see each other.
Mm-hmm. And so not only do you get to witness a child die, but then you get to watch a child plead with her sister or Perona not to kill herself. And this is the first point where you kind of get a glimpse that Fushi can kind of understand spirits, because Fushi stops her literally a second before the suicide and is like, no, not worth it.
Yeah.
Also, can we just take a minute to talk about how all of this could have been solved? Like, we could have had an entire second core of freedom and happiness if they would have just killed the bitch here and there.
That's one of the biggest, most frustrating things about this entire show. I have it written in my notes. Let me see. It's on the next page because it was during the second core that I said this. But I've got, she's always given the chance to what did I put here? She's always given the chance to just behead her. I think that's what I wrote. Oh yeah, and then a little bit later I've got drown the bitch. Like,
I mean, it's literally a Rising of the Shield Hero moment of, all right, let's cut off her head. Nah, we're gonna have second thoughts about it. We're gonna be good people. No,
don't be good people. Kill her.
Like, human beings are not sophisticated individuals. If they feel wronged, they will try to get revenge. This bitch obviously feels wronged. She's not going to have a character redemption arc. She a bitch.
This is where I get faced with my own survival instincts, because I don't think I would physically be able to restrain myself if I was put into a situation where I just witnessed someone shoot and kill a young child and be gleeful about it. I don't think that there would be a bone in my body that would regret ripping the head off their shoulders. Like, in politics, I don't agree with the death penalty. I think it's not, like, I don't like that idea of revenge. If faced in that situation, I don't think I could stop myself, though.
Yeah, I agree. Like, especially with that individual being basically your sibling and the amount of shit that you've went through basically in the past 6 months to try to save them. Then you have the one person who caused all of this shit, like all of the shit that you've been through, then kill your little sister with a smile on their face and taunt you with it.
Yeah.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, and then just it keeps going with her, and Fushi's just like, it's chill. And I'm like, no.
I mean, it very quickly became not chill.
Yeah.
But then he got over it again, and then he's like, no, it's chill again.
Yeah.
Just fuck.
Just murder her. Like, oh my god.
Oh, anime brain. Gotta love it.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's a thing. Anyway.
But yeah, March is dead. Fushi has obtained another vessel that he can transform into. We are now big sad.
Yes. So then Parana goes back to the village and Fushi continues onwards. Fushi then runs into this town where a boy is living with alcohol maker guy, because Fushi goes with the old woman. The old woman takes him to her, I don't know if they're partners or if it's just a friend or something. I don't know, just like a
She
companion.
alludes to it being a partner.
Yeah, who is an eccentric old man who likes to experiment with things, but also makes booze for money. And so they go back there, and when they get there, they realize that there is this boy that has been living with him, that his story... Oh, the frustration. So it's just him and his older brother. His older brother, I guess, becomes a gambling addict. I think that's what it alludes to.
That or he just falls in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
And uses his money to try to impress his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, and he abandons his young brother to do so, stealing the money that both of them saved together. And as far as I'm aware, because they were hinting to them playing a game, so I think, in my interpretation, was that it was a gambling thing that went bad. But yeah. So then the boy is left, and he continues to work selling groceries in town. Also, grocery dude, love him. He's great. the master of the vegetable guy, the field. We like him. He's nice. His kids can go
kick rocks.
Yeah. But he himself, he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he's plowing all the fields, and then he has this crush on this girl in town who is like from the rich house, from the manor, that she's high up girl, and he's literally sitting there sleeping in a tent. And then one day he's walking along the road and he sees a log come free from a train truck thing, the transporting vehicle for the logs. And it falls down the hill, and he runs to try and get her because she's picking flowers at the bottom of the hill. Pushes her out of the way, and he falls off the cliff with the log and gets his face smashed in.
And hence comes in your notes, I've added an organ to you.
Yeah. Okay, so the notes go, dickwad brother. They just ignored him. He saved her. Rena's so frustratingly oblivious. Just laughing at Gugu from a distance. Fushi is adorable. I added an organ to you? Is literally anyone nice in this anime?
Oh my god.
The sequence of notes.
Uh-huh. And then in the meantime, whilst this is happening, Fushi and old lady's name, who I can't remember because I'm still very, very sad. They are attacked by what will later become known as NOKKERS, right?
Which is hilarious to me, but yes.
Yeah. And it is a woodland creature that whenever it effectively kills Fushi in whatever form he is in, he loses all memory and ability to take that form unless the knocker is killed.
Yes.
And so Fushi gets literally all the way down to one final form, and then he's like, all right, chomp. And defeats him. He gets all his memories back, and it's at this point whenever he finally truly starts to fully understand emotions a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's
also first words.
Yeah,
other than just repeating arigato.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. So it's old lady is teaching him all this stuff. They're developing. He's also now, because he's lost his emotions, kind of realized that he had them.
Mm-hmm.
And then so then they go to the thing, they meet Gugu, and their life kind of just progresses for a while with Rin, who's the girl, coming down and them just hanging out. Fushi has a fear of the forest, that is known. Gugu knows about his immortality, Rin does not. And for 4 years, Fushi doesn't transform, so he ages with the boy's body. And by the time the 4 years have passed, he's just growing hairs on his chinny chin chin. And then
Gugu got buff.
Gugu got buff, yes. And then this is when we find out that, old man added an organ to him, which was alcohol distilling organ into his system, because he wanted to, basically, because he wanted to.
Yeah. It's like his lifelong dream to make an alcohol that is so highly distilled that it's basically just pure alcohol, pure 200 proof alcohol.
Yes. Oh, this is actually before they aged up. I just looked at my notes, and that's I've got Gugu got beefy written later. But yeah. So he runs away because of this, and when he runs away, oh my god, this is Rin goes, she's like, oh yeah, I have this huge scar on my arm from an accident, and I'm so self-conscious about it and everything, and I bet it's so much worse than the scar that you're covering up with a literal helmet that's covering your entire head. And maybe if you look at my scar, then you won't feel so self-conscious about yours. It's I have a bigger scar from a thorn scratch.
Yeah, I have a bigger scar running along my thumb than what she had on her arm. Also, how the hell did she end up with that scar? She wasn't anywhere near the rocks whenever she got pushed.
It must have just a blade of grass got her or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So the one instance any character other than Fushi can actually take fucking fall damage. She hit dirt and it just left a very razor blade sharp line across her arm. That is a scar. Oh, yes. I've been enlightened.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Or it's that's the one part of her sleeve that was open to where that one part is just tanned. It's not actually a scar at all.
Honestly. Ugh. But anyway, I have another cry meter here. I don't know what that cry meter is. Oh, no, that's from when he gave the ring to his brother and his brother's deadbeat in the street, I think.
Oh, that's why you had one more cry than me. Because that one didn't get me because I just thought that was kind of stereotypical anime moment.
I think for me it's because I had watched all of these episodes in sequence. So I was still unsad from the first episode at this point.
Oh, you see, I took a break after March. I needed a break after March. My God, that shattered my soul.
Yeah, I think I watched 10 episodes and 10 episodes. I think that's how I did it.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Anyway, or no, it was either that or it was, I can't remember why I cried, but I cried at some point throughout this of just him being emotional and sad.
And then we're about to get to the next cry count.
Yes. Okay. So then Gugu gets beefy, and then
Green's 16th birthday.
Yes, and she is betrothed to be married to somebody she hasn't met because we love arranged marriages.
Oh yes.
And she's 16, baby. It's a baby betrothed to be married. And she basically says to Gugu, hey, my guy asked me to marry you because otherwise I'm fucked.
Yep. The accuracy of that statement.
Right. And at this point, she's never seen his face. He has only ever worn a helmet around her. But she's chill. She's I like you. We're cool. And I think she's kind of suspecting things at this point, but she doesn't really know. But then as time goes on, the birthday party happens, and at that party he gives her a purple flower that just happens to be the purple flower that she was picking that day, and everyone kind of beats him up for it. They're like, oh my God, why would you give her the thing of the day that she was traumatized? And he's like, well, first of all, she was traumatized. Hello, have you seen me? And so second of all, my guy, her favorite color is purple and you keep giving her green. And then so they end up talking on a balcony, and he's like, and she's like, I want to know how you got injured. Will you finally tell me? And he's like, oh, well, one day I was saved a bitch who was being stupid. And
yeah, he's like, I got my head smooshed by a log that was rolling down a hill because there was a person down there that didn't hear me as I was shouting at them. By the way, how the fuck do you not hear somebody shouting at you while you're picking flowers? How do you get into your own head so much that you don't hear somebody literally shouting, hey, move?
I'm gonna say
anime logic.
There was a waterfall.
It's a lake.
There was a trickle of stream, wasn't there? Because he fell off a cliff.
It was a cliff down to a little beach area, but there's no waterfall. There was no waves. It was just pristine at sunset.
It was windy.
Everything was calm.
They said it was windy.
Ah, yes. Let the wind be the reason that you don't hear my shouting whenever I'm literally 20 or 30 feet away from you. Oh, yes, that is the reason.
I don't know.
Anime logic.
Yeah, either way, she didn't hear. She didn't hear a fucking giant 600-pound thing tumbling towards her. But yes, she didn't hear. He then nearly died, but didn't because he got alcohol in his stomach. And it's not how that works at all, but we'll go with it. And then, yeah, they're all the big knockers. I can't say that. That's what they are. Why did it have to translate like that?
Yeah. Why did you have to say they? Why did you have to make a plural? Oh, it'd make it even worse if you called it what it was, which was a giant stone knocker.
It's just... that's the one thing about this show that really just does not translate well. But yes, okay.
It's brilliant.
So, giant tree monster now coated, well, I'm going to call it giant squish monster because it kind of looks a bit like a naked mole rat underneath all of that. I think I called it a noodle at some point. Yeah, I said, LOL, she gets noodled.
Gugu also gets noodled whenever he's dangling.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so the giant thing breaks the manor apart. Whilst they're in the manor, everyone else escapes except for Gugu, who runs back in to help Fushi, and then Reen, who runs back in to help Gugu. The manor completely escapes, like crumbles down, and Fushi is fighting the monster. I'm just going to refer to it as that from now on. And Gugu is like holding up. Go away. This is sad. Gugu dies.
Oh, we gotta laugh, otherwise we'll cry.
Honestly. So Gugu's holding up the giant pieces of rock from the building, and she kisses him, and they profess their love to each other, and then he dies. And it's very sad.
And Fushi feels this.
Yes, he can
he feels every bit of it, and he feels himself the second he's able to transform into Gugu. Like, he feels it, and he is just heartbroken. He's like, no, there's no way he can actually be dead. Transforms into him, and then starts going ham with the fire breathing.
Yeah.
Monster knocker.
Go away. Go away. Okay. And then
that's going in the description somewhere. Like, get ready, because this week we're talking about monster knockers.
Oh
my god.
Then Fushi decides that he's going to move on. He's like, I can't be around these people because they die because of this creature that's following me. So he tries to trick Reen into thinking that Gugu is still alive, because at this point she still does not know that Fushi is an immortal creature. But she figures it out, and that's sad.
That's whenever I cried.
Yeah.
Because at that point, like, I was choked up, like, the fact that Gugu had died. But then whenever she's laying on the cliffside where Gugu got crushed, like, laying amongst the flowers, like the flowers are perfectly aligned around her, and she tells her dad, she's like, I can't marry him, like, I'm in love with someone else. And he's like, oh, who is it? I want to meet him. And like, you can't, because he's gone. And oh my god.
And the ring. The ring. So horrible. That's horrible. Monster knockers.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then this is where the show decides to take a fucking dip.
Yes. Okay, so this is... it's so bad. I think it's just that it's not bad, it's good. But in comparison to how phenomenal the first section has been, this feels unbelievably bad for the show. It feels like The Promised Neverland Season 2. It's not
nearly as bad, but it is kind of that level of step back.
Yeah. So basically what happens is they, him and the old lady, because the old lady decides to tag along, they're going to get on a boat because they're going to go to this island that is just animals, so that he can get stronger, because that's what the man in black has been telling him to do, and who is his creator. And so they go to the dock ship area, and a girl goes, your boat's full, let me take you onto this new boat. And so they're like, oh, okay. So they go into this boat, and it turns out it's taking them to this, like, prison island. And she had tricked them into getting there. She lets him get branded. She lets him be marked as not just a prisoner, but, like, the worst of the worst prisoners. Luckily for him, though, it's Fushi, so he just heals. But, and the old lady is separated off and taken into, as a prisoner as well. Then she tries to be all buddy-buddy with him for, 3 episodes, and we're just still pissed.
Yep. Oh, we are big pid over this.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't like you as a person at all. Not even a little bit. I don't sympathize with you. We learn the first part of her story of like, oh, my dad was a murderer and that's why I'm on the island. And you don't feel anything of her. You're like, well, you suck.
I don't give a shit. Like, even now, still don't give a shit about her. Really.
Yeah.
Because I can't get over the first bit. Like, you don't
No.
have that much character growth in 3 episodes. That's fucking bullshit. Or like 3 days. That whole thing took place in like a span of 3 days.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, you just...
Also, how does the first arc or first core take place over the span of like 4.5 years?
Yeah.
Next arc technically takes place over like maybe a month, except for the last episode that spans over like 50 years.
Yeah, very quickly. Just
very, very quickly. End of the episode. Cut forward 50 years. Anyway. Yeah. Show got like real, I guess, monotonous in a way with this. Because at this point, we kind of knew what to expect. We knew somebody out of this next group of people was going to die. We hoped it wasn't Grandma. Thankfully, it wasn't Grandma. But also, Evil Bitch comes back.
Yeah, I don't know what they did with this section of the show, but it's so different.
I feel like they tried to do too much.
I don't know if they just didn't, I don't think they anticipated how angry a viewer would get at this character for tricking them onto the wrong boat. Mm-hmm. And how petty we are to hold on to that. Like, that's not something that we, as a viewer, are able to detach from.
Well, it's also because at this point, we almost feel like Fushi's parents. Mm-hmm. Like, because we've literally watched him grow from nothing into a entity that is able to form full sentences, like enunciate perfectly, like can do all of these things, and you hurt our baby boy.
Yeah, 100%. Like we now have a feeling hurting creature that we have associated with a dog as well. Like, he is a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And you hurt the puppy.
You hurt the puppy. You hurt the boy. You hurt the little girl. Like, every person that Fushi is able to turn into is somebody that we have grown to love and care about. And you hurt them.
Yeah. And so our walls are very high up, and we have zero tolerance policy at this point. And then this girl comes, she tricks him onto the wrong boat, and then she's actually annoying as well. I don't know what it is about her character, but she's genuinely annoying. I think it's because of how...
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's like she follows him around, refuses to listen to him when he's like, hey, I need space. And then just inserts herself into everything. So it's like, oh, I'm talking, and then all of a sudden she's stepping in front of him being like, I'm sorry, if you want to talk to him, you have to pay me a fee.
She's literally like that high school preppy group level of two-faced and petty, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, does that like paint a picture? Basically, think of Sharpay in High School Musical, just more annoying, and I want to drop kick this one.
Yeah, it's and the thing about it is that then when her backstory comes, and we're vaguely aware of these other characters that are in her group. We don't know them. We don't really know their names. We don't know what they're good at, really. I mean, we get like a brief introduction around a campfire where it's like, oh, she wants to be a model for a painter when she grows up, you know? But like, we don't know them. And then we get her backstory more, and you're still kind of like, it's not a big enough backstory to where I forgive you.
No, definitely not. Like, I care more about her other cohorts that die. That kind of got me, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I gave more of a shit about her friends than I gave a shit about her.
Yeah, I would have been cool if she died. Like, I wouldn't have cared.
I would have too.
But she doesn't.
Like no, she lives. Also, Evil Bitch comes back, and she fucking lives.
And whilst in this tournament, all of a sudden, Fushi can turn into Parana, and we discover that she had died in the village. Then,
not only has she died in the village, come to find out, Evil Bitch is the one who fucking did it.
Oh, and then when they're on the boat, she's like, I love you, Fushi. And then, and he's like, I hate you. She's like, he's like, why did you kill them? Why did you kill March and Parna? And she goes, they were in my way. And it's like, Parna hadn't seen him in like 4 years.
No.
She had just been chilling on her own in the village. And then she's like, oh, let me just kill her real quick.
Yeah. Like, maliciously hunted her down, slaughtered. I alluded to slaughtering everyone else around her because there was a dead dude at her feet whenever she was hanging there before she got her head chopped off.
Yeah.
And then we're skipping over the other part of what Bitch Face tried to do to our boy.
Face licker.
So, yeah, no. And then, but Fushi being the bigger man, the best boy out of all of this, it's like, no. He's like, you can go out on your own. If you survive, fine. If you die, fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Also zombies.
Oh, zombie knockers.
Go away.
You started this. You implanted this in my brain. I would not have thought nothing of it, but you started it. Now I can't stop.
Well, I blame Gene Wilder for starting it from Young Frankenstein.
Oh.
There's a joke in that where I can't remember the name of the girl, but the girl walks up to the door, and no, he walks up to the door, and he's looking at the door, and they have the giant knockers to get into the door, and he goes, "What knockers?" And she turns to him and goes, "Thank you, doctor." And
oh my god.
And it's one of those jokes that has stayed in my family for many years.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant.
Okay. Yeah.
And so Fushi follows old lady around. And because he's like, I'm going to watch over her, but I'm not going to do anything. And I'm going to make sure she's okay. And then I'm going to leave and go do my own thing. And literally goes back and forth for days.
Yes. But then eventually he is faced with the fact that he is just lonely and wants her company. And so the two of them together then head off to the island that they were originally going to go to.
And during that time, she, at the age of 90, gets dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, my heart started to break there because it's very, very like blatant what it is, but it also like follows the path of what it is perfectly.
Yeah.
So that started to break me because you know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then just there at the very end, whenever she's like, whenever she tells him to like take care of himself and she really cares about him. And then she's like, oh, you need to go get some water and put the potatoes up before it rains. And then tells Dude in Black, or the Beholder, as he's called on the Wikipedia, or basically God.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I want you to go ahead and take me while he's gone and reincarnate me into something that's actually going to be useful for Fushi.
Yeah.
And at this point, Fushi gets back, sees that she's dead, and this is the wail that will probably haunt me for a very, very long time.
Ha!
Just that squeak. Oh. 10 out of 10 voice acting. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Then cut forward 50 years and we get to see what fucking 50-year-old Fushi looks like. Doesn't look like he's a day over 30 and hot.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I assume he hasn't transformed during that time period, though, because
but there's no way, because he naturally aged, like from where he was then to whenever he was with Gugu. Like he kind of aged like normally over a 4-year period.
Yeah, because
there's no way that spans several decades, and he looked like a dude fresh out of a BL anime. Am I wrong?
No, but I wasn't expecting that.
Okay, well, you see my point. Like, look like a dude straight out of a BL anime.
I don't know. Yeah, he says decades pass, and then we see
several
him again,
decades.
and he's grown. But I don't know if the thing I'm confused about is whether or not he transformed during that time period, because it's kind of assumed that whenever he transforms out of the Fushi body and then back into the Fushi body, even though it's just the boy, he doesn't have a name, it's kind of like a reset point. Like if he leaves and then comes back, he kind of resets to the way that he was, the way that the boy was when he died. So I don't know at this point when it leaves you off, it's like you don't know if he's aged or if he hasn't transformed or if he has like found a way, because of course he's developing every day with like being able to produce things. Also, I have a question about like matter in this world. I understand that like a lot of the actual science is broken, it's a fantasy world, but most shows, when somebody can produce something, like create something out of nothing, it is kind of explained in one way or another as like, oh, they are absorbing from like a mana pool in the air, or like from ground, or like they can transform one thing to another thing. It seems like Fushi is just creating matter, though.
Well, Yaoyorozu from My Hero Academia can do the same thing, but she's kind of limited based on the amount of energy and stamina she has.
Right, so she
is also not immortal.
Yes.
And also, she has to like understand the actual makeup of something to be able to make it. Whereas Fushi's like, oh, let me get cut by a blade of grass and then I can turn into a blade of grass. Also, how does his power work? Only at the point of death.
I guess.
Because he gains the ability to transform into them with stimulation. But how is he not able to actually transform into them until they're dead?
I think it has something to do with their soul or like their person, because he can create husks of them, but he can't create the life. So it probably has like, whilst something has life, he can't touch it. Like he can't use it. But once the life is left, then it's a vessel for him to be able to use. And so like sticks and stuff are already kind of vessels. But I think it's life is the difference.
But it doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
I need more explanation. I need more explanation on his powers. I need more explanation on what that ending was.
Yeah.
But solid 9.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 because of how frustrating I found that character and how much I just wanted the villain dead.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And the fact that she's still not dead.
I think, in my opinion, that she is dead in a way. I think that we'll see her again, but I think that it's going to be her as a knocker. Advanced, you know?
I think she has, I think it was kind of alluded to that she has, like, become one with one.
Yeah.
So it's still her, but she, like, the knockers have managed to take her over, because the knockers have slowly started to become more human-like.
Yes, I agree, yeah.
Which is, again, I think that started back whenever Gugu got noodled.
Go away.
But yeah, I think at that point, like once it kind of got a taste for human DNA, it was like, oh, time to evolve.
Yes. Okay. So 16 volumes. Do you think
that's enough for at least another 2 core anime? The second season has already been confirmed for October of 2022.
I don't want to do this again. Can we not?
I'm curious if it's going to have the same type of feel to it, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious as well. It's just, I'm so, you know?
I know, I get it. I totally 100% get it. I don't want to have to go through it again, but at the same time, this was really fucking good. Like, I can't knock anything about it other than evil bitch.
Sorry, I just reread my handwriting and figured out what I said.
Oh?
She's always given the chance to talk just to behead her, not take. That's why I was so confused. I was like, what? She's always given the chance to take? What? It's talk. Shut her up, just behead her.
Agreed.
I've got the new girl is seriously unlikable. Ew, face licker. Parana is dead, brackets off screen. I really, really hate her. She killed Parana. Holy shit, sexual assault. Yeah, also, just like, what was with that sudden, I'm naked and I'm gonna have my way with you, whilst he's unconscious via blow dart? Like...
Yeah, shit was...
Whilst he's in a 14-year-old's body.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, what, 25? Like, she's not.
Something like that, yeah. Like, no.
Ugh.
It's bullshit.
Ugh.
That's it. That's all I got. We've given ratings. We've ranted and raved enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that you got anything else?
No, I have nothing else. There is nothing left in my body.
I feel that. I'm going to go. I was going to try to edit this after it got done mixing tonight, but no, I'm going to go the fuck to bed after this. Oh, I'll edit tomorrow and just be sad about my life.
I don't ever want to do anything by this person again, like this creator. No.
No, we've got season 2 in October. It'll be fine.
Every time. It's so sad.
And it's basically a pure reset, so we're going to have to get attached to people all over again.
I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore.
All right, so if you enjoyed my counterpart being back this week, that Blue, you can find her on Instagram and Twitter at BlueLavenderSTM.
And if you like Brad, you can find him on Twitch at BradCarterGaming. He's also on Instagram under the same handle. He also runs our Instagram and social medias for the podcast at BnB Anime. We have a YouTube at BnB Anime, where we have all of our podcast episodes that got 1 week late from when they are published on your regular podcast listening platforms. So if you want to listen to us early and you're on YouTube, you can download us on Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever your favorite listening platform is. Chances are we're on there. Or if you want to check out our fancy new video log screen things and hit us up in the comment section, head on over to our YouTube channel and look there. We've got some fun new content coming, some reactions to trailers, some video game playthroughs, all this kind of stuff. Look forward to that, all coming onto our YouTube channel. As well as our website. We have a website, www.bnbanime.com, where again, we have all of our episodes ready to download right on the website, as well as links to your favorite listening platform. So if you're not sure if we're on a listening platform, you can check out the website and find out. Also got background information on there, links to our IMDb, friends of the podcast, artwork that we've done, all kinds of fun stuff on the website. And soon enough, we're also going to be having our drop list, our rating list, and our regular tier lists that I have a spreadsheet of are going to be put up on the website as well. So that's super exciting.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for listening. Blue and I greatly appreciate it. Next week, Konosuba, the film, because we need a break. We need to watch something funny. And also, I don't want to make Blue sit through a 24-episode anime, considering the amount of shit that she's having to deal with for school. So there's that. Yeah. But until then, we'll catch y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.